Hey, I'm on time.
We're both on time. I'm a little late. Actually, you were here before me. I'm looking for banners, all sorts of fun stuff. All right. Oh, everybody liked the little ad. Got my 80s Hawaiian shirt on and running 80s ads. Going with the whole retro theme.
Yeah, it looks like you're like straight out of what was it, Vice City?
Yep. Rocking it. So I'm not as clean cut as I should be, but
Miami Vice. And I need to trim up here too.
Old Man Winter over there.
TD's says we heard you guys talking in the background.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
We did that on purpose.
TD's our new editor, by the way. He catches all of my mistakes. He's caught a few of my email and advertising mistakes in the past couple days right off the bat. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're not perfect.
Multitasking, not my strongest skill.
Yeah.
On very little sleep, so we hit 2,500 subscribers. Hooray!
Yay.
Been trying to do that for a while. I know it's not a lot for some people, but for us, we're pretty excited about it, considering all we do is go live, and we do teardown videos every once in a while. I've had this channel for a while. We've renamed it. We've rebranded it a few times. It's now Coastal Crypto. So everybody who's been here from the beginning, appreciate you sticking around. Try to make a run at it, with YouTube and give you guys information that's beneficial and share our opinions. It's only our opinion.
Yeah, literally.
Nothing is to be taken too seriously here. We're just having fun. But we do what we are. We are running a promo for the 2,500 subscriber celebration. I'll toss it up on the screen here. Hopefully this is the correct one. Let's see. I believe it is. Yes, no, maybe this side like this over here. Yeah. So trying to throw some special deals at you guys. Couple little stuff going on to celebrate 2,500 subscribers. We got a couple machines up for sale for $2,500, along with a lower tiered one at $19.99. But we're doing a giveaway as well. So if you buy, say, an E9 Pro for $2,500, you get 5 entries into the giveaway. Haven't decided what machine we're going to give away, but it'll probably be an S19 or something of that tier. We'll probably toss that at you. So yeah, yay! Hopefully,
so for every $500 spent, you earn 1 entry into the ASIC giveaway. So bulk buys will get you more. So essentially, 1 purchase is 3 entries, right? Or
5.
More, 5 entries. Yeah, I can't count today.
5 times 5 is 25.
Boom. It's still early for me, man. Come on.
You're only 3 hours behind me. Come on now. Right? 3 hours now, or you want more? You don't do daylight savings.
3 hours. Then you have to add the late night calls with our suppliers on top of that for a time zone difference. So I'm really like back in 1984.
That's all right, Mark. We forgive you. We're getting closer. Getting closer to the foundry. Is that what we're calling it? Foundry? Forge?
Yeah. I think we're calling that one the Forge, right?
The Forge. I'm excited.
Should we go over the... I haven't put an email out yet. I need to do that still. But the update that I posted... Posting...
Sure, we can do that first.
Thank you all. Back to the Future. Exactly. We're running at 88 miles an hour constantly.
Yeah, if you want to go, you put what you posted in Discord, correct?
Yeah, in the hosting.
Yeah.
Hosting tab.
Sure. Let me see if I can pull it up for you.
Yeah, if you could, please. Anytime I pull up Discord on mine, it starts messing with my feed.
Discord is loading. I didn't have it pulled up.
Loading. And if you guys want to get your questions ready as we roll, get through the stuff that we have going on, we'll start answering the questions down the road. But yeah.
You can also join the conversation over on Discord too. I'll put you live on stream.
Oh, there you go.
I'll start the voice channel here in a second on Discord. Let me pull up Mark's announcement for hosting. If I can find it. Hosting, there we go.
Yay. Whoa. Looks small. So I'll just read it. The countdown has started. The final countdown. Yeah. That's the first thing I thought when I actually wrote that. We're looking at roughly about 30 days until we can enter the new building. Roughly a week or two of build out after that. Just, so we can put up the shelves, run any potential wire that we need to run. We're basically just doing drops from the power that's like hanging above where we're putting everything. For all of our current hosts, increasing size and those who are new to us recently. So if you are increasing or new to us, one, if you're a new client and have not received a hosting agreement from us for the new facility, please reach out, DM me on Twitter or Discord so we can get that squared away for you. I think there's maybe like one or two more that are still outstanding and a couple that are still in process of getting in the door. The next is for new clients or those bringing in new machines. So essentially, if you are doubling in size or something along those lines, we need the deposits sooner than later to avoid any delays on getting the machines up and running. So basically what we want to do is as soon as the shelves are up and running, we have a drop in place. We just want to turn machines on. We don't want to put them on there and be like, oh, well, I need to pay the deposit, so we can't turn them on. They're just wasting space. So essentially we just want to turn everything on all at once and get it going once we're capable. Expectation for those that are currently on downtime probably be roughly about 2 to 4 business days once we make this move. Worst case and best case, probably looking at like 1 to 2 business days. The ideal scenario really is We unplug you from one location, put you on a truck, bring you over to the other location, and then just start putting you on the shelves and plugging you in. Like literally, that seems like it shouldn't take a couple business days, but there's always hiccups. So
we're rolling out a few new inventory and tracking systems along with this new location, barcode scanners, things like that, to make sure, keep a little bit better organized than we have been, because we've moved a few times, and every time we move, we seem like we've changed how we do things and trying to improve upon our techniques and our hosting capabilities. So as we move to this new location, updating technology, updating, monitoring systems, making sure everybody's machines are accounted for, serial numbers are scanned in, and so on. I mean, if you're already hosting with us and you log into your Foreman accounts, that's who we use to monitor, you should be able to see your serial numbers now for your specific machines. So that's new. So
yeah. Lastly, all these timeframes are subject to change just due to the number of variables. However, we are confident we can make this a smooth transition from one facility to the next. Anybody that had went through or with us from when we moved from our old place where we were just at 400 amps to our current facility, they know, hiccups happened and we are down a little bit longer than we anticipated. But essentially, this facility has a lot of the infrastructure that we needed to put in place of our current facility. So timeframes, like I said, we're pretty confident we can get everything squared away. It's just a matter of getting in the building, making sure everybody's T's are crossed, I's are dotted, things like that. Because again, all we want to do is just come in, start setting up the infrastructure. That's the heavy lifting, and then taking machines and putting them online. No preferred treatment, none of that stuff. It's just, as we boot up, those that have paid their deposits or are already clients, they'll be getting booted up. And then as more people roll in, we'll be turning them on just as quickly. So it'll be, fun. All good times.
Yay.
Yeah. So the environmental study went off. They did their thing. They're just about done with some work inside the building. I think John has a meeting with the current landlord here pretty soon, just so they can go over a walkout and all that, just basically how we're doing our build out.
And power company.
Yeah, and the power company, they're coming in to shake hands and stuff like that. So
I think the power company seems pretty excited as well.
Surprisingly, so definitely a different attitude from our current situation.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the facility that we're at has an abundance of power already there. They were actually in the process of downscaling the substation that feeds the building until we came in and said, no, don't do that. So they're re-energizing what was there. I mean, we're looking at 13,000 kVA, I think, is the transformer. So that's right around 7 megawatts is the first pad, and then there's room to expand. And all the infrastructure in the building's already there. The building already can withstand and hold up to, I want to say 15 to 18 megawatts inside the building. And that doesn't include the surrounding land around it, which could hold, say, containers and additional power. So I'm excited. They're excited. They're like Mark said, they're completely different attitude than our current power company. Willing to go the extra mile and making sure that they can provide adequate service to us and get us up and running ASAP, which is really nice.
Yeah, they've been at the substation a couple times, but the last 30 days or so since we've, since last time we approached them saying we needed to turn the power on in our name. So they've been doing some due diligence items on their end with the substation. And yeah, I mean, like I was saying, it's a different attitude. So we have our current deals going on, other people coming in. Again, for those that are still hosting and don't want to, can't at this point power on at the co-op. Everybody's sitting rent free at the warehouse. So if you want to accumulate a few more machines, feel free. I don't know. I don't have anything else on the mind. What else do we have going?
PDUs. I mean, that's been kind of a topic of discussion between us. We've had a couple guys ask us about smart PDUs and what we're using at the farm. Currently, we're using, I think it's like 24 plug, 480 3-phase smart PDUs. Internal switch built in. 480 goes in, 240 comes out. And I'm also working on modifying PSUs for the S19s, especially now after we've had our hands on a couple of these M30s, M50s, and M30s, where it's equivalent power rate, hash rate, right? And power. We're talking 3,200 watts, 3,500 watts at 120 terahash. And it's using one C19, C20 plug versus the two that the S19s have. So I'm working on modifying the PSUs to have a single C19, C20 plug, making it a little bit easier to plug and play when it comes to our facility, at least for our equipment. It'll be an option for hosts if that's something they want to do. It's the same modification for an S19 as it is, say, for like an L7 or an E9. It's the same power supply. So it'll be an APW12 power supply modification. Once I have more in-depth breakdown on it and testing, everything like that, I'll let you guys know. But I'm pushing for it. I've been, doing my best to make sure we do this safely, consulting with my electrician and so on, making sure that we don't overheat. The components inside can handle one plug versus two. And make things a lot easier, that's for sure.
Yeah, one C19 versus having to do splitters and all this other stuff.
Yep. Working on 3D prints and plugs and all sorts of stuff. I mean, the stock plug, right? Not a whole lot to it on the backside. Everything is just pigtailed and soldered together. So, we'll make it better, more efficient. That's the goal. Make my life easier plugging in all these machines. There's a rumor that China will allow mining again. I believe it's a response for on the latest U.S. rules to benefit from it. Yeah. I don't think China ever really stopped mining.
But no, they didn't.
They just did it under the table. But whether you're talking about hosting facilities in China or bigger farms popping up more on a regulatory basis where they're being monitored, and possibly it would be smart of other countries, benefited from what we're doing. And, our US or SEC is downplaying all this BS with crypto exchanges. I mean, what is it? CRO just announced that they're pulling out US
business accounts.
Yeah,
they didn't have a high demand for it anyways. Like the on-ramp for business accounts, you had to talk to somebody internally to even get anything entertained. So it's not like they had that business really rolling that much when it comes to. I mean, obviously I don't know the internals of Crow, but they came out specifically and said, due to the current environment and the lack of business they're just going to shut it down. So it's which goes inside or coincides with what we experienced, because I think when we were like 3 months old, I applied to see if we can get a business account with Crow, and we didn't even get an email response or anything. So yeah, and it's similar to Coinbase. I mean, we're still messing with them. They need information from John right now, and we're still up in the air. So it's like, let's just stick with what we have, because it's obviously it's not perfect, but it actually works. But don't let like this chokehold 2.0 from the SEC. Don't let this FUD like deter anybody from anything. Honestly, Bitmain set
Not
up
financial advice.
Yeah, we're not financial advisors. It's not financial advice, but Bitmain
Not
set up a
holding up
mine during this crypto ban here in the States, in one of the Dakotas. I think they're at like 8 cents a kilowatt hour. From the rumors that I heard, I think they're also like in bed with Foundry or something along those lines. So they have land. They have a full-blown multi-megawatt facility in the Dakotas. They're paying roughly about 8 cents a kilowatt hour mining Bitcoin. We have seen nothing but expanding this entire time, regardless of all this news coming out, even though the SEC stuff is more recent. I mean, it's still China played their game with their bans. Now they're coming around. A lot of other different areas are, booting up. There's a company that's trying to do like a PR spinoff of saying that they're going to, energize a mine in Argentina or El Salvador or something along those lines with volcano power. It's not necessarily going to be off thermal volcano power, but there are companies that are building and just building, constantly building, and no one's slowing down. Like literally no one is slowing down.
I mean, 6.5 cents would be fantastic. I wouldn't personally host my equipment in China. I mean, if they're here in the States, that may be different. We've received used equipment from mines from China. It's not in the best shape. There's no filters. It's open air, open environment. They're knocking out walls for ventilation. So I'd be a little hesitant to host with China. I mean, those rates are great. But who knows what tariffs are going to be like and everything else. Here in the United States, the national average for power consumption, kilowatt per hour, is going up. So a lot of hosting facilities are going under. We kind of touched upon this last live stream. I just want to bring it up again. A lot of these bigger hosting companies had contracts that lasted 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is. But in that intermedium, when those contracts were underway, electrical rates have gone up nationwide. Not just for us, not just for them, for everybody. For me, your Uncle Bob down the street, everybody. We're all feeling the rate hike for electrical power. So when Bitmain, like Mark is saying, is coming in the Dakotas at 8 cents, that's going to be the overall consensus across the board for everybody. There are going to be obviously some contracts that are underway, that are still underway, that are lower. But once those contracts are kaputs, I would be very surprised if those rates are ever seen again, especially as we move towards a bull run. Rates are just going to increase, and hosting rates are going to increase. We're doing our best to make sure that we can sustain a lower rate outside of a contract, and then additional savings with a contract. So we're looking at both terms with our power company, with Dominion Power. They've been more than fair, we believe. They are below the national average. They are a power generation company. And they're looking to play ball with us. We have 36 acres at this new facility. There's plenty of room for solar. There's plenty of room for wind. So there's going to be seeing some major innovations in renewable energy, especially around mining equipment here in the next couple of years, I feel. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Not excited about the rate hikes, but excited about innovation.
Yeah, so we'll probably see geothermal volcano energy in our lifetime. Which, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of innovation. What I don't think power companies, which they more than likely may kick and scream on this as well, is there's going to be more competition, which should hopefully keep rates stabilized or in some areas reduce them. So we'll see how all that kind of plays out over the next bull run that we have going, coming up. It seems a lot of posts out there on Twitter are calling the end of the bear run. So I think that we're pretty close, if we're not there. I do see some of the verbiage that we've seen at the end of the last bear run, or bear market, whatever you want to call it. Is people just 100 trillion% negative on crypto. They're bowing out. They've lost all hope. Now is really the time to hey man, we're here. Let's roll. Keep building.
Yeah, we're not slowing down. We're putting out ads and promos for hosting. Trying to pull one up now, actually. I mean, we're betting on the future. We haven't slowed down our company. A lot of this stuff, I don't want to. It's tough because there's things that we can't talk about. But we have a fly on the wall, if you will, to some of these conversations that's going on in Washington, and we're going heavy on crypto. We're not slowing down. We're just looking at alternatives to get out of this United States, I guess, not business wise, but on a financial institute wise, either going 100% crypto and removing everything off of U.S. traditional financial exchanges, or finding a off or overseas account that will sustain us, that is accepted by the U.S. government for tax reasons, but the U.S. doesn't have any say in whether they can freeze or open or close accounts. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we like Kraken so much, is because the U.S. SEC pokes Kraken and Kraken pokes back. They don't bend over and take it. So,
except for that one time.
But they're requesting files, and it's like, okay, you want information, request it properly, go through the proper channels, and then we'll give you the information that you need.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, we're gonna threaten you, give us this, so we're gonna. No, it's like, let's do this correct, which was what Kraken says. File your proper paperwork, and we'll give you what you need. There are other companies out there, Coinbase, that just kind of bend over when the SEC steps in the front door and says, we need information on all your accounts. So they just go, here you go. Which I'm not fond of. But yeah, we have 1 megawatt, half a megawatt, quarter megawatt slots available. More if you want more. If you're buying equipment from us, it's a 1 month deposit in equipment, and you get your first month free. So,
I noticed that on the YouTubers stuff. I'm slowing down, am I? Yeah, I am. All right, I got to stop that. I'll take that off. I noticed on the YouTubers, they've recently posted, we're also getting a demo unit of this new iPolo X1. It's basically V1 Mini, but reformatted into a different vehicle, I guess.
Form factor.
Yeah.
Chassis.
So it it looks like a GPU. According to our contact at iPolo, this can be ran off of a computer. So I know that I didn't watch the video, but I know that Red Panda Mining had it on like an Orange Pi. Yeah, I mean, it's just a little at-home miner. So essentially, they're appealing to a specific crowd, similar to Gold Shell. That's iPolo's real bread and butter. You know, it's appealing to a particular market, and if for those that are like in our position where we're scaling, this is not optimal, but you know, we have it. We have the pre-order listed on our website, and I mean, I don't really
It's
have too
almost
much.
like a developer kit to me.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
You know, something that you'd get from a manufacturer to a code developer or someone of that caliber saying, "Hey, look, we don't need a full blown machine, but we need something that could at least connect to a test net, and we can do some evaluation and things like that, but can be scaled out if they need be." So I like the small form factor. I like things neat and tidy.
Yeah, and you know, the hash rate isn't like stellar. The power consumption is still in line with the V1. So once we get the unit, I think we'll do some more testing and just kind of figure out, you know, what the capabilities are based on what iPolo directly had told us. So, you know, we'll try to throw it into a PC rig. We'll try to do a couple different things to see, you know, what our results look like. And then, you know, look into the GUI things, you know, basically things that Red Panda and hobbyists have already done with their demo units, and just kind of, you know, play with it for the most part. And then at some point, we'll probably just give it away. So we'll get what we want out of it, which is basically some content for you guys, and then, you know, our opinion. And then there is also that new Jazz Miner.
They're pretty slick. I mean, Jazz Miner. I mean, I like the Jazz Miner cases. We have a few server case Jazz Miners at the farm that we host.
Well, this is definitely not a server.
No, I know it's more an ASIC with the three 120s on it. Yeah. But form factor wise, you know, cleanliness and in terms of how it's manufactured, I like Jazz Miner. They're decent machines. I like to figure out how things are made. That's what I'm looking at. You know, I like them to obviously operate properly, but how it's produced and manufactured is also kind of important to me. Like the WatsMiner M50s and so on.
Yeah.
You know,
dang it, man! I went to go pull it up on the website and I forgot to click the button that it's. What the heck? I forgot to click the button that it's under Jazz Miner when I did it.
Oh, when you upload it to the site?
Yeah.
It's going. Now people won't be able to find it.
I know, they have to actually go to the shop because it's the first one. All right. So here it is. This guy is pretty crazy. Oh, I need to go over here. So if anybody wants to, you know, notice, Crypto Bros were a little less than they are. I know that they came out August batch pre-order. This machine's pretty crazy as to like the actual. One thing that I know that is confirmed is that it will dual mine ETC and ZIL. So that's a big, huge improvement when it comes to Jazz Miner. So I hopefully they can do some type of firmware upgrade to make the server like the 1Us and 4Us and things like that at some point dual mine also, because that'll be, again, everybody's been asking for it. Anytime we talk to the rep, they're like, yes, we know, we get so many inquiries, yada yada yada. But yeah, so 5800 mega hash plus or minus 10%. It's, you know, and for a power consumption of only 1900 watts, like that's insane, honestly.
Yeah. E9 Pro's at 2200, just for reference.
Yeah.
The 368 3.68 gigahash is at 2200.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like Bitmain's recycling parts, they're like using they're going from ground up, and Bitmain again is they're just okay. What can we utilize that's cost effective? Where these guys are like, development stage 1, beta, alpha, all that fun stuff. Yeah, I mean they're doing ground up things. This thing looks crazy though. Like I want to see, like, for that machine, I want to see like how the boards are sitting, like where the chips are, how they're sitting with the heat sinks. Would this be more optimal to have it sitting sideways, similar to like the S19s? So, you have less reflow issues. There's a couple things in here that I would like to mess around with just to see optimally. Honestly, it doesn't look like there's going to be some back fans, so that could be concerning temp wise. I know when you guys, those that have purchased like the M2 or any other machine that really doesn't have back fans, temps become the problem. Temperatures, especially this time of year. So how will that factor? A lot of different things. I like that there's some innovation coming out of some of these manufacturers. Still nothing from Locotech though. Like they're going to all these events, BTC Miami, Mining Disrupt, things like that, talking about their device, but still nothing from them. And you got Jasminer coming out of nowhere, like, hey, look at new machine, and like giving us pictures and designs, things like that. Yeah. Looks like a lame jazz hands to me. Who are they trying to appeal to? It has the same as the V1 Mini, just a different form factor. Oh, you're talking about the X1. Yeah, so the X1 is they're looking at the hobbyists, dude. That's literally who they're going after. I mean, it's no one else. A big farm isn't going to buy a bunch of these and be like, all right, let's just plug them all in. No. So the play on the X1 is essentially a buy and hold it. And so waiting for the bull market and then flipping it off on eBay or something, or, your backdoor site. That's where you make your money out of it. Or if you are, not financial advice or anything.
My browser disappeared.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to find it.
And still hoping for a script Jasminer. I know one of the Jingle Mino people, they said that there was some type of Jasminer that's going to be mining script. I don't know, man. Script is it's a hard algorithm to make more efficient than what's out there already. So you get these companies that are trying to tote some fake equipment or provide no proof on some development that they're doing. And then you have Bitmain, who's actually making the machines, and they are getting more efficient as they're making the machines, but their competitors are having a hard time keeping up, if at all, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So script's a hard algorithm. That's really all I can say on it.
Yeah, no, there's always rumors about some new equipment coming out, whether it be the L9 or whatever. I don't think it's coming anytime soon. I think they're gonna beat the L7 to the ground like they did the S19. The L7 plus is next, I'm sure, something like that.
Well, I mean, we know Bitmain's timeline. So if a machine is coming, there will be an announcement in September. Then come September, the announcement. If it is a brand new machine, they'll have their launch, basically people trying to pre-fund the machine's manufacturing. And, you're probably looking at 3 to 6 months before it actually comes out the door. And then at that point, they start launching out. So we're probably still basically a year out, 9 months to a year, before we even see a new script miner from Bitmain.
And even with all these different models, whether it be the E9 Pro with the, now we have the 33.78 and the 3.68 and the whatever, or the L7 with the 8800s and the 9050s, and they're all the same machine, guys. They're all the same chip. It's just the silicon lottery that determines the efficiency. If you take one apart, they look the same in the internals. The chips are all the same. It's just for some reason some chips perform worse than others. But with firmware and tuning, they all perform pretty close to the same hash rate at the end of the day. I mean, you can stick high firmware in any L3 model and get 10 gigahash out of it. Tune it. Done.
The L7.
The L7. What did I say?
L3.
L3.
L3 is getting 10 gigahash. What? Yeah.
The L7. So don't be discouraged if I want the 9500 L7, but you can't afford it. Grab an 88 and some free firmware off our website and go to town. It'll still get 10 gigahash.
The potential's there.
Right? Slight different. Maybe the efficiency is a little bit off, but after you've tuned it and chips have sunk in and Hive it's done its thing, and you can even, with the new Hive firmware, which is something that I love to do. We've talked about it a million times on our older videos with the L3. You can go and individually tune each chip. You don't have to run the auto tune. You can go in and tune each individual ASIC chip. So you can go grab a cheap 8800 and self-tune it to 10 gigahash, or even modify the PSU for a couple bucks and get even higher. So don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, guys. That's what's going to make or break the bank at the end, in our opinion. It's not just plug and play anymore. You want to make the big bucks. You want to, play in the big kid sandbox. You got to learn how to get your hands dirty and tear these machines apart, or find somebody that'll help you do it. Because that's going to be the key at the end of the day as we get closer to these next bull cycles and prices start going up. Grab the cheap machines now, learn how to modify them, learn how to tune them, and you'll be golden. You'll be set for the next bull run. That's kind of what we cut our teeth on, right?
Yeah. When it comes, you mentioned modifying the PSU, I almost would want to steer away from that, especially now that we're pitching into the bull run or pivoting into it. Like I would almost want to get a higher output PSU and just swap them.
Yeah, so you can get an Alpha Miner PSU for the L7 and have your stock APW12 as a backup.
Because especially if you're going to go and try to resell this during the bull market, and you can say hey, I have an Alpha Miner PSU on it. It's almost like Pimp My Ride, right? Like you just added something. You added a little pizzazz to your machine. The hobbyist will find value in that. The big mine will be like, okay, well, we know, they'll have the actual power that they can put to it. So it may be more appealing getting a different PSU if you're going to go that route, so you can push it up to, the 12 gigahash, things like that. Because eventually, come the bull market, everybody's going to be like, let me get more power to it. Doges, quadrillion cents, and we need, everybody's going to the moon, yada yada yada, all the fun hype talk. All right, RPM has finally joined the chat. So here we are. What should I buy to get some entries? I need to win me some ASICs. What should you buy? Buy an E9 Pro. The S19 120T. I think you already have one of those too. And an E9 Pro. You have it all. What? You don't need any more entries for anything. Get out of here.
You need a WhatsMiner.
There you go.
So I'm pulling up. I just pulled up the. Let me see if I can slide it on over here. Share my screen. So we know that the stock PSU on all L7s will do the 10 gigahash. Power consumption rate is going to be slightly different, between 10 and 15% between models. But when you're pushing and you're trying to grab 10 gigahash, 10, 10%, 15%, in our eyes, we're going to be stacking coins. We're not worried about the power consumption at that point. We're pushing the machine to stack coins, not to be energy efficient. But you can go grab yourself an Alpha Miner and, be pushing 11, 12 gigahash on these machines. From what we haven't done it yet, from what we've understood and what we've read and what's been conveyed to us from Hive, is these machines are capable of doing higher than 11 with a modified PSU for the L7s.
Yeah, the 9500 should easily hit 12.
Right. And then, modifying a PSU, I mean, we get a 6,000 watt power supply from Alpha Miner. I think that's what it said, 6 or 7,000 watt.
I want to say it's 6.
6. And you go and you individually tune these chips, you can get these machines quite a bit higher. It's just now we're talking about heat disbursement and things like that, and whether you're going immersion or air cooled. But don't be discouraged by these different miner models, is what we're trying to say, especially when there's firmware out there like what we're seeing from Hive and some of these other manufacturers.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up to see the specs. I have it in one of the chats.
I mean, we're constantly bugging the guys over at Hive.
I wouldn't say
they're good sports.
Oh, so I'm pretty sure I made mention of this maybe the last stream, but bring up Hive. They do have some things in the works. Hive OS is going to be supporting iPolo miners here pretty soon. We have had a chance to play with the ASIC hub that supports iPolo miners, and it definitely is like night and day comparative to when they launched the Gold Shell version of the ASIC hub, supporting Gold Shell units. If you guys have seen Hobbyist video, you see that there's like fan checks and all this other, like he had to put in some script to where like he rebooted the miners every 15 minutes, things like that. It's not like that whatsoever so far on this beta version with the iPolo hookup. So I'll be very excited to see that launch. I know it's going to be a sigh of relief for those that are like deep in with iPolo box miners. So that'll be pretty good. We have a client that has a good handful of iPolo box miners. So we've been stressing because they're not compatible with Foreman. iPolo doesn't have like their own hub. So we've been trying to figure out the best solution without having to manually check the wattage every single day, all the time. Even though it's not a lot, the guy's under 2,000 watts in a total of the amount of machines that he has with us. But we've been trying to figure out a solution that be like, okay, we can monitor this in some way, shape, or form that would make it easier for us and them. And Hive, coming through the clutch, we reach out to them. Hey, you guys working on anything? Lo and behold, within 24 hours of me asking that, they provided, say, hey, we've been working on it for a little bit. Here is a link to our beta. Test it out. Give us some feedback, so on and so forth. And yeah, that is it. So far, we're having a lot of fun with it. I would show it to you. Oh, well, I guess I have some on ours if we want to show it, right? I don't know. Hopefully there's...
Yeah, they didn't say we couldn't, so...
Yeah. Let me pull that up and I'll give you guys some insight. Nope, just kidding. First I have to log into Hive.
So Chuck, you're worried about the L9s coming out. We haven't even seen them yet. But we still have guys running L3s with firmware. Firmware makes the difference with these machines. Yes, they're more efficient and so on, but with tuning, with firmware, with heat management, you can make these machines last fairly long. Like we were talking about, grabbing additional power supplies, upgrading your fans, upgrading your cooling. What you're spending on an 8800 and you're saving not buying a 9500, you could, upgrade your power supply. The firmware is free on our website for Hive, and you can make it this 8800 a dead ringer for 10 gigahash easy right out of the box, so 11 gigahash, and go to town with it. So don't be discouraged. We're still going to run our L7s when the L9s come out in 2 years. So I think we glitched a little bit. There we go.
Yeah, I'm slowing down a bit, probably from sharing my screen. So just wanted to show you guys that it's here. We have not, I haven't updated the flight sheet on it just because I have settings in the machine. I don't want to play with that just yet. A couple things that I want to do, bring feedback. So mine is sitting in, this one is sitting in my garage. So it being unstable like this is because of the heat out there. I have it as cool as possible, and I have a fan indirect. It is what it is. These machines are temperamental at best, and you need to be kept cool inside, which I do not. I have it all streamlined through near graphics rigs and things like that. One thing to note, it's not showing the electrical usage, so I would like to see some type of firmware upgrade that does that basically can pull that information from the API. But these like this unit here, it's probably 240 watts or something like that. So it's not, nothing crazy. This is just one of our testing units, so it's not anything. But it gives you like the information, what model, your iPolo miner. It does read temps, so you can see your temps, which seems like they're pretty decent right now. I'm sure if you guys are good with coding, you can go in here. Like for me, when I have like a Bitmain, like an L3 S9, I put manual coding in here into this field. So I'm sure as time goes on and people get to know these iPolos a little bit more, I'm sure that this will probably be possible. You can do this in here as well. Stats wise, it's not really going to give too much information because, again, it's not pulling a lot. I'm sure we can go into settings and you can see or make adjustments, like manually put in your wattage, what you feel the machine is, so you can get some type of reporting. But all it's going to do is at that point then report the wattage that you just put into the machine. It's not going to report the actual, it's not going to report an actual usage. So just things to think about. But I mean, again, I haven't tried the flight sheets yet. So that'll be the next thing to do. But the thing it shows, it's showing the mega hash is showing all the pertinent information that you would need to know to manage this. And it's, again, Hive coming through clutch, in my opinion, just showing them adding more value to the community and giving access to something that we don't have access to right now. Wow. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was cool. All right, so I got a question here. What is the most common problem why power supplies go bad? So with the APW, what were they? 3s and 7s, the standalone power supplies, a lot of times it's a capacitor that goes bad, that pops. These are smart PSUs, which means you can plug 120 or 240 into them. It's not just a set voltage. The capacitor that regulates and that switch over a lot of times pops. It also may have to do with your power source, your PDU, depending on what kind of PDU you have. A lot of times you have a ground, a neutral, and a hot with some of these PDUs. Your C19, C15, C20, it's not, especially if you're running 240, it's not 120, 120 in a ground, it's 240 a neutral and a ground. And that's a lot of voltage to be putting through one leg of a power supply which can cause them to go bad, especially on older units. The APW12s, same kind of scenario that we've seen. They've reduced it a little bit by using 2 plugs, the C13s, reducing some of that switch over time frame. It's taking, 120 and 120 to get 240, or it's taking the 240, 240 to get what it needs to run properly, and it's managing it inside the PSU, and those smaller components are what goes bad first. That's why, like I said earlier in the live stream, I'm working on modifying a stock APW12 to take a single C19, C20 plug versus the dual C10s or C13, C14. A lot of times it's just the input. It can't handle it, or it's some of the voltage is off, or it's struggling. Undervolting these PSUs, not tuning them, undervolting them, but plugging in 208 or over plugging in 277 can make a huge difference with these things. Read the side of the PDU. It says 120, 240, or it'll say 180, 240. It doesn't say 110. It doesn't say 115. Like some of these older houses may have 110, 115. It says 120, 240. So just be careful what you plug into it, because that puts strain on the internal components, which causes them to go bad. Hopefully that kind of helps and answers some questions for you. There's not just one overall generic answer why they go bad. There's a number of components that could affect these power supplies. Alphaminer does a great job with upgrading their PSUs. We've run a couple Alphaminers in the past. We like them. They're a little bit noisy, but they seem to handle the load.
Yeah, so with the L7, you got to keep in mind, so on these bigger machines, these obviously are meant for farms, right? Like a different type of customer is buying these in droves, especially when they launch. So when someone that's at scale is looking at buying like an L7, an S19, they're not looking to ROI, which we hate this conversation, but try to recoup their funds within 6 months. Like if it happens, they're ecstatic. Yeah. So big scale farms, they're ecstatic, but the people that are going into, or the businesses, things like that, they're looking at and are accustomed to, because Bitcoin, when you're getting into Bitcoin mining, the expectation is 3 years. Like that, so they're looking like, okay, well, where do I see a return? Like they don't even care if a return happens within the first couple. They want to see a return after the fact. So essentially what they're doing is, yeah, we'll give you the funds for all these machines, get everything set up, yada, yada, yada. I want to see, X amount of Bitcoin at year 3 at this value. And so that's where their mindset is. Their mindset isn't like, oh, well, I'm dumping in. And I know that, you're managing your business as like a crypto miner, but I'm just trying to explain to like where the price points are and why they would be that way. Or how Bitmain, tries to reprice out, and then also like resellers reprice out what the machine price point would be based on any given day of what ROI might look at. So obviously the market fluctuates. I will say this, at least in my opinion, and I'm sure John would agree with this, come this next bull market, even with the L9 launching, you're not going to be looking at an L7 being just a brick, right? So the L3 has been chugging along, like John said. There's aftermarket firmware, things like that, and that's already happening with the L7 with Hive. I'm sure other companies are coming along. From my understanding, Brains is in the works on something, and I know Luxor had something going on if they haven't already launched something. I could see Epic hashboards coming through, because control board coming through on the L7s. Like the L7 is now getting more popular and being distributed more within the farm. So I could see that we're going to have more options coming to make these things a little bit more efficient come, this next bull run. In turn, the L9 comes, your L7 is going to be fairly competitive, and you'll be looking at like an LT5 scenario or an LT6 scenario in the last bull run, because that was really like the flagship of Gold Shell, that LT series that really, gave them some oomph. For somehow they found, efficiencies or something. They stole some Bitmain chips. I don't know. But
and be careful calculating. I mean, if you're really dead set on doing the ROA calculations for these machines, which Mark and I are against, especially if you're script heavy like we are, a lot of these sites, ASIC miner value, whoever else, they're not factoring in the fact that script miners merge mine Doge. They're just giving you the LTC payout a lot of the time. Go to these pools, go to Poolin, go to these pools that support merge mining, and then figure out how much you're pulling in. Again, like what you're seeing on ASIC miner value or Mine the ASIC may not include the Doge payout amount, which could be an additional $5 or $2 on top. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at these numbers. It's not.
Yeah, and I mean, when you go to what to mine, you have to like manually do the calculation. You can't just
Right.
You can't just I'm gonna whatever pick the coin and then it be whatever it is. So here, 10 gigahash. Typical fee is what, 3%?
Sure.
10 gigahash. Like you have to do all of it. Power consumption at 10 gigahash is what, 3,900?
Yep.
We'll leave it at 10 cents. Or no, we'll put it at the mine. This is what the mine is. So I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but before power, 10 gigahash gets you $17 a day, basically. It costs you $8. You're still profiting $9 at 9 cents a kilowatt hour. So, I mean, where are they at? Like $4,000, 4,500, something along those lines, for an L7, wherever in that price, in that range, for $9 a day for now. Like, that doesn't even factor in any upscale for where the bull run could possibly take it. Obviously, we know difficulty is going to continue to rise. The Litecoin halving is going to have literally no, like, it'll be a very minor effect on the overall profitability of these machines. So, yeah, I mean, it's.
I just want to solo mine Doge all day long.
Yeah, right. I know we even have a client that wants to basically put it on the Dingo pool or whatever it's called and mine like all the script coins all at once. And it's like, that's. Give me a larger pool that lets you do that. That's not. I mean, nobody wants to buy the wrong miner, right? But saying that the home miner can't afford to buy the wrong miner, you guys constantly do it regularly. Like, it's not. You guys are out here, like there are hobbyists still out here, like, going all in on 4090s. And I just don't feel like that's the play right now, personally. We're not looking at 4000 series cards, but yet you still have, I got a 4090 for whatever, or 4070 because of XYZ, and it at home miners are constantly buying the wrong thing. So it's not it's not that they can't afford it, you just got to be calculating in what you're doing. So a 5K loss. So if you're at this level, you're considering an L7, right? You're considering an S19. You're not like, this argument could be posed, right, for the S19 also, because the S21 is on the verge of coming out. And we already have machines Bitcoin wise that are pumping out 250 some terahash, right? And they're out there on the market, big farms maybe accumulating them, things like that, but hobbyists are still trying to get their hands on 90T S19s. Like the argument, can be made both ways is what I'm saying. Like it's not when it comes to these ASIC machines, the ROI conversation just needs to be different. And so there is definitely a right or wrong, or no wrong, no right way of figuring this out. This is at this time in the bear market, you're doing two different plays. You're like, how can I mine on it for the remainder of the bear market, which literally is probably at this point done.
Stacking bags.
Yep. How can I stack? And then what do I see the upside of the machine being if another machine comes out, or where do I see it being in the bull market? Are we going to see 25K L7s again? Probably not. But if you're buying at 3 and change, 4 and change, or under 5K, basically,
8 and 10K is not out of the question.
Yeah, exactly. Getting 10K in the bull market is not, and we've preached this quite a few times in our live streams. Like right now is the time to accumulate the machines, and then come the bull market, you build out. Like you stop buying machines, or you buy when you find a good deal, but you focus on infrastructure. So come the next bear market, you're then accumulating again. You're like, oh, I have the space for it now. Let me dive right into it and get more going. And
we practice what we preach. We're not just preaching to you guys. We practice it too.
Yeah, and we're also in a difficult position right now. Like since the company has started, we started in a bull run, yay! And the bear market came in full swing. We've been building ever since, and we're still like in that building phase of getting everything to scale. It's like we try to practice what we preach, and in most cases we do it. But in other hands, it's like, okay, well, we still have work to do. So we're still building out, trying to get people to scale more than just us. So we're working, things that we're working on the backside.
So hold on, I saw a comment here from Chuck. Where was it? Oh, Bitcoin. Did it disappear? Or did I just miss it?
BTC ASICs are purely electric rate limited.
Yeah. For the hobbyist, sure. If you want to look at that mentality, absolutely. When I was at the Digital Chamber of Commerce in DC, and I got to talk to Riot, and I got to talk to some of these bigger farms, they really don't care about the electrical rate for themselves. Electrical rate is when you're trying to make money off of hosting or your own personal stuff. These bigger farms are not worried about electrical rate. They're worried about stacking the BTC. That's what they're doing. They're obviously they're going to try to negotiate their power rate low, so it's a break even kind of thing. But they're not using their BTC to pay their electrical bill. They're stacking it. They're either selling it as a premium to sites like Peachit or whatever else it may be for clean Bitcoin, and they're getting a 30% premium on it, or they're stacking it and they're holding it for the bull cycle. They're not worried about power rate. These big farms, they don't care. They want the BTC. That's how what's 24,000 today. It goes up to 38 tomorrow. That's their profit for the year. They're happy with that. That's what they're banking on.
Yeah, different mindset.
So, just what mindset do you want to be at? What level are you trying to get to? And you got to start thinking about that way now. It's kind of what we rolled into when we started Coastal Crypto, and we were buying L3s by the truckloads, not literally, but we were buying L3s for a couple hundred a pop, and the peak of the bull cycle, they were going for $1,200 a pop. And, Now they're back down to a couple hundred. It's a cycle game that you're trying to time and play out. And it's the same thing goes with electrical rates. You're trying to bide your time. So it's a long play. Do you like crypto because of what crypto stands for, or do you like crypto because it's a passive income and you can quit your job tomorrow if you buy enough machines? Where do you stand? So we're Coastal Crypto. We're looking to the future. We like crypto for what it means, for what it stands for the freedom that it gives potentially to the world. That's what we're pushing for. That's why we're doing it. Different mindsets, different strokes for different folks. Sorry, I should have had the rant banner up there. So
yeah, right. We do both, dude. So we get it, or at least I get it. My electric bill last month, including the AC. I'm in Arizona, so the electrical rates are during the day roughly about 20 to 22 cents, and then at night it's around 7. So I get it. Like, it is not easy to swallow on $1,000 electric bill, but so in some cases we still have to figure out what the end goal is for the most part.
Yeah, gotta try to plan for the future. I mean, before we started Coastal Crypto, I was mining Doge and only Doge and Litecoin on L3s and grid seeds and USB sticks. And I stacked bags and bags and bags and bags of Doge. And that's how we were able to start Coastal Crypto. Because Mark and I had stacked and had bags of crypto piled up from, just paid the electrical bill. It is what it is.
Fun times.
California, 45 cents. Yeah, screw that.
Yeah, screw that. We do know that there are we have a couple clients where they're somehow getting free power, or they say they are, at least in some areas that are on the outskirts of the big cities. If there are really any of that exists in California, I think all the cities are big.
I hope we don't see them on the news.
Yeah, right. It was discovered these machines were purchased by Coastal Crypto. Oh, shoot. More drama.
30 S9s found in high school or elementary school crawl space.
Like that one custodian where I have a feeling this next bull run we probably will see more of that.
When I was a teacher, I thought about it.
I could just plug one machine here. I could just do it, and they wouldn't be any of the wiser.
I had my own computer lab. I could have turned, Monero on all the machines. I didn't do it, but I could have.
That's what makes you special, John. You know what you can do, but you're like, all right, I'm gonna do the right thing.
Most of the time.
Yeah. All right. What else? What other questions you guys got? We're hitting an hour and 13.
You should be reinvesting that with Coastal Crypto.
Yeah, right. Back in the day, he also spent 8,000 Bitcoin on a pizza. Yeah. What other questions we got going on? I am a traveling assembler in a retail store. I've thought about bringing my ASICs to work and tapping into free power. The USB miners.
Hey, why not?
Right here. This, that. How is that? So we know this all so well. I was at $1,900 a month. Electric company cut off power to run tests due to power draw. So the reason we're in the situation we're in right now is because supposedly we were pulling 180% of what we actually could from the power lines, and the power company asked us to pull down our power, or to draw back what we were consuming, so we didn't affect things downline, as they were trying to, basically set the infrastructure up downline, so not even near us, to handle the wattage coming in one pathway. And we've been talking to the power company since we've been in business. The same power company. They know we've been growing. They know how much we actually really wanted to use. And obviously, when it came time for them to shit or get off the pot, they just got off the pot versus actually addressing what we're actually doing at our current facility. And when we drew back at their request, whole system failed. Catastrophic failure. Like, we are doing fine. Here we go. Thanks, Walmart. All right. So Mark John, thoughts on the Z15 Pro?
It's a machine. We have a couple of customers that are really into the Z15s, whether it be the Z15 OG or the Pro. I'm not a fan, just because I have to set them up. But don't mind the algorithm, don't mind the machine itself. I'd like to see a built-in power supply versus the side mount plug and play power supply.
I do like the path that Bitmain took on this. They only basically doubled the consumption. They didn't pull a KA3, right? They didn't take what was currently out on the market, or a KS3 or something along those lines. They didn't take what was currently out there right now and like really just crap on the entire market for these Z15 Pro. So I like that aspect of this Pro. Like, if you're into Z15s, this is really like, and you already, like, you had a bunch of Z15s already, you're not like, you don't have that feeling like, dude, I just like, my machines are ruined, right? You don't have the, I just spent money on a gold shell KD Lite and it's worth literally nothing because the KA3 just came out, or Caspa, I spent X on a KS2 30 grand, and Bitmain came in and just completely wiped out any profitability on the Ice River I just bought. So I like the play that Bitmain did with this in not increasing the hash rate substantially. But again, it's either a project that you're in on or not. So it's one of those, give or take things. And we're not in Zcash really. So we don't, it's not a machine that we would really purchase for the farm. But obviously we have it because we have clients who have the current Z15, and we want to continue to show support. So
I just wish they would hard mount that PSU.
Yeah, right. Come on, man.
So the Z15s that we have that we're running for a customer, I think I have one or two of the original APW3s running them. I ended up swapping them out for 2,000 watt 240 power supplies just because they run more efficient and they run more stable. So that's my only gripe with the Z15s, the OGs that I've played with, is the power supplies, because they run on APW3s or APW 7s, that 1800 watt. So I'd like to see something hard mounted.
Ditto.
A little more stable, please.
Yes. How is the node build coming along? That's on the back burner. We're doing actual building versus virtual building. So let's see here. Power company wanted to swap out my meter because they thought that it was reporting wrong. Yeah, that happens regularly. And what sucks is if you have a power company that tells you that they're coming out, that's awesome. My power company here in Arizona, they didn't say nothing. And when they had to upgrade my my meter because of pulling a lot more, and they just basically swapped it, didn't say anything at all. And so everything went down, and I had to turn around and flip everything back on again because, thoughts on the K7 and CKB as a project.
We have a couple K7s. Not us. I mean, people on our farm have K7s.
Yeah. So the K7 is still profitable, and I don't really foresee like the K9, right? The K7 just came out, so I give it some time. I think that'll still be profitable in the long run. There are some that are like really in the Nervos network and all about it. All I see right now is there's really like an NFT advantage in the Nervos network that could really pop off at some point. But other than an opinion on that, it really for us it would just be a stacking play, and yeah, it really would just be a stacking play at that point. It's just not even really a this project is, the project doesn't really, it's, KDA does the same thing. There's just nothing that wows us. Good, because I spent most of my tax return on it. Yeah, I don't foresee there being a K9 anytime soon. I could be wrong.
Remember, a lot of times with the Bitmain, for every odd number that they release to the public, there's an even number miner going to a private farm.
Right. Well, sometimes they build a particular machine that goes straight to a farm too. So keep that in mind. The L5 went straight to BitDeer. So we got Red Panda. So yeah, the PSU and the Z15 is a pain. It's just hanging there. And what's frustrating is that's not the only machine that's like that either. It's so you would think that they would do something similar to like how Jazzminer just did theirs, where it's like at least it's in a sleeve, right? That they can pull in
the X6, Gold Shells X6.
It's in some type of sleeve, so it's not just hanging there. You want to fire or some shit. Like, come on. When I got my 40 amp service, I got a new meter and a transformer. I'm mining. I'm going to pull. Dude, we told our power company too, like, hey, no, here. So when you're a business and you're going into a building, right? And you're like, hey, I am looking to turn on power. If you're doing something more than just turning on power, like we had our electrician talk to the power company's techs or their electrical engineers. Yeah, their electrical engineers on figuring out, well, how much, because basically we want to figure out, okay, well, what could the wires bring in to the building? So the power company's wires, what are their gauges at, and what can it bring into the mind? So that conversation triggered the power company to come to us and say, well, okay, give us a demand letter. And basically a demand letter is breaking out all of what we intend to consume. So we legit have it in writing on a form, their form, saying, we're pulling X, Y, and Z worth of power at these given times or time frames, and they still didn't do anything on their end. And so they knew we were going to be pulling more of this power, and we proactively started the conversation with them, and still they did nothing. And so, that's the current power situation. Dominion, the new company that we're moving to our 5 megawatt facility, their attitude has been completely different and as proactive as we've been, and they've been, responding to what we're doing with our power broker. Night and day, honestly. But yes, no. Either the power company is friendly to crypto consumption or they're not. This is what we're experiencing as a company.
I mean, if you guys have green incentives in your area for power, read your tariff sheets, your packages for here for Dominion. It's a couple hundred pages. For Appalachian Power, it's a couple hundred pages. But in some cases, in most cases, if you purchase your own meter, you can get a credit on your bill. You get a special tag. It says customer owned meter. It goes on the meter, and you can usually get some kind of incentive for doing it that way. And you see that in a lot of cases when it comes to people putting solar panels or whatever else on their building, because the meter has to be able to flow both ways. So maybe, read that packet, go onto the local website for your local power company, look for the tariff packet, and see what they do for specific metering. Maybe you guys can pick up your own meter on eBay or Electrical Supply House and put it on your house that way. Then you don't have to worry about them coming and disconnecting it. It's your meter.
Yeah.
You just pay the power through it.
All right, last question, and then we gotta head out. How do you get a power broker? Honestly, you gotta know somebody. So we have one. We found it through conversations from someone else, so on and so forth. I will tell you this: power brokers, they don't deal with small stuff. So if you're trying to get some type of PPA going, you got to be consuming, and then it all depends on your state. Like in Virginia, it's 5 megawatts, and then power agreements can come into play. Other states, it's less, a megawatt here or there. I think Texas is like 8 to 10. There are other places where it's like 3. I think Utah is like 3 megawatts. You're talking serious power. And so you want to have a power broker at that point. I know it's adding a middleman, and in crypto, we really don't like middlemen, but it's needed because when you talk power to somebody, or if you're talking power to the power company, you view it as the way, even if you have an electrician that's that's helping you along with this, you're viewing it in one way where the power company is viewing it in a completely different entirety. Language is completely different. So basically what you want, and the reason that there are power brokers in the space at all, is they can have the conversation of how they can get a power rate reduced even further, because it's more than just I want X rate, right? It's more than that, because there are ways to make money off of the power that you're drawing, and then there are also ways to spend way more money on the power that you're drawing, and the power company wants their cake and they want to eat it too. So there's an ebb and flow, and the verbiage that goes along with that ebb and flow it's not something we're accustomed to. I'm sure people can learn it, but really you might as well be in a room full of people that are in Congress, right? You're the new guy amongst a bunch of dinosaurs. It's the same thing.
Yeah, whatever the power broker tells you, you got to got to keep in the back of your mind that they're making a cut off of it too. They're not doing it just to benefit you. They're making their money too, some way, some shape or form. Whether it's a half a cent, a quarter of a penny, or a full cent off of whatever you're getting, that's how they're making these deals happen. So they could be, we'll get you down to 8 cents, we'll get you down to 7 cents, but in reality, the rate's probably 6 cents, and they're taking a penny for themselves, and they're getting a payout because they're brokering the deal across power grids to make it happen for you.
Yeah. All right.
Fun times.
Yeah. And that was a good last question too. So to give a little bit more insight on a power broker. Always feel free to hit us up, especially with the sale that we have going on for our subscribers. We're doing it through the end of the week. So hit us up. If you saw it through another channel like RPM or something along those lines, we're not giving a discount on anything because these are already at discounted prices. However, we will still give the creators some type of credit. So helping us helps the community. We're all about helping the community. So if you guys have anything else, always feel free to reach out, DM us on Twitter, go to the website, hit the box. I did see a comment about possibly if we're hiring. Again, reach out on Twitter. Let's have a conversation and see what we can do or what your skill set is, things like that.
Yeah, need someone who specializes in shipping and logistics. We'll keep running the sale for the next couple days. So if you want to jump in on these deals, let us know. Again, I'm going to keep pushing the M50s. I know we have some other great deals out there, but I'm loving the M50s. WhatsMiner built these machines for scalability. They're not tall machines. They're slim form factor, one plug, good to go. Bigger, 160 millimeter fan. I'm loving the WhatsMiners the more and more I spend time with them. So, but appreciate you guys. Thanks for helping us hit 2,500 subscribers. Next goal is 5K. Let's double it. Let's see if we can get there. We'll do another big sale when we hit 5K. We'll do another giveaway and so on. So let's keep the ball rolling. Keep those subscribers. I don't know. Keep it rolling in.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time.